Oh, I thought it was a fantastic weekend. To me, the combination of it was wonderful, fantastic, diverse, interesting set of speakers and topics. I found myself being stimulated intellectually like I haven't been stimulated in a long, long, long time. It reminded me of back in my college days whenever I took a class that wasn't part of my major. I just took it because it was something that was interest and I was stimulated by it, and I found myself living those days over again 30 years ago.
I tell you what, it was fantastic, and I thank TEDx for bringing that conference here in Pittsburgh, and it really showed me that it's all about people, and it's amazing the impact that people have in their own community and around the world. And we read a lot of things about a lot of people and different ways that they contribute and different ways that they make a difference. And to be here and to hear a lot of these people speak, to meet a lot of these people that have made a big difference in the community and in the world, really makes you realize that, wow, what can I do? Okay, how can I contribute and start to make a difference? And also this conference, with the main part being about children and realizing that that is our future, and a lot of things that we're doing and that we're preparing for are really for our children, and it's very important for them to carry this on and to make sure that we have the leadership, we have the creativity and innovation in the future from them. So as Don Martinelli said, that now that we've had this conference, we've been inspired, we've learned a lot, we've seen a lot, but yet there's a lot more to do. And so, as he said, hey, it's up to us now to go out there and do it and to continue.
Well, it was very stimulating, but I think from the very moment of the conference, I felt burdened. I was trying to figure out how could I use this. So there was a lot of great thinkers, a lot of great presentations, some very touching moments. But I was sitting there the whole time thinking, if this is about the future of children, how do we use this? And so it became a quandary. Is this simply a wonderful experience, a great way to spend the weekend? Or can we, in fact, transform our work on behalf of children and improve the world? And actually, I found ways during the course of the weekend. I was thinking of various presentations and how we could change our work to really have a better product, better world for kids. As president of United Way, I think we've got to take all the stimulation that we had today and figure out how does it change what we do so it's more powerful to improve the lives of children. I think we learned that the world is changing in a big way, and we've got to change how we organize the community, mobilize the community, interact with our young people, allow them to lead us in some ways too. And I sat here throughout the weekend thinking there are lots of things that we can do, and in many ways I was both stimulated and motivated by it.
I'm the CEO of a software company called Deep Local in Pittsburgh, and one of my passions has always been, or my life's passion has always been, finding ways to sort of ignore the boundaries between disciplines. Originally as an artist and now as a CEO of a company, I do a lot of things to try to make sure that my employees are really much a part of what's going on in Pittsburgh that's transforming it, and that's in the arts community and the cultural communities. And because of that, I try to stay networked through all of the networks I can be in, the startup community, which is great in Pittsburgh, the arts community, which is great in Pittsburgh, and an organization like this. Well, being able to see these talks here at TED Pittsburgh was sort sort of humbling and also really inspiring to see the opportunity that's available to think about problems that affect our region and our world and globally, but to think about these problems not in my sort of focused life that I normally spend thinking about an isolated problem, but to see how these sort of greater issues affect all of us, and to see all these people who are passionate about what they do and sort of trying to meet these challenges in very distinct ways, but seeing the connections between all of them is really exciting and I think inspiring and humbling, and all the things that Don Marinelli spoke of at the end. It's really nice to see, to feel as though that there are so many questions in the world that we need to answer, that we need to solve together. In a computational way, you look at it in Louis von Ahn's work, and in a sort of more holistic way, you look at it in the pieces of what everyone here is doing, trying to solve major problems in small, focused ways, and hoping they come together to be something huge. So it's transformative in that way. I think it encourages me to, one thing I try very hard to work with certain communities that are accessible to me, artist communities and startup communities. One thing I don't do is reach very far out of my own sort of safe area. And I think this encourages me here to reach out to disciplines that don't seem connected at all to what I do, that I have no history in, and find ways that I can help or benefit or be a part or even connect those individuals and those organizations with one another. So I think encouraging me that there's it's always going to be a challenge, but I must always sort of find a way to be a part of as many different people that are change makers in Pittsburgh. And again, I'm very Pittsburgh-centric, so as many change makers in Pittsburgh as I can. So that excites me to see how many people are really passionate about what they're doing.
Well, I think in the spirit of inclusion and diversity, which is obviously the mission that I have for the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, UPMC, I think I just appreciated all of the different ways that we tried to approach this conversation, recognizing that the audience was very diverse in the sense of age and background and industry that they represent, and making sure that you display it through art and video and different kinds of media, because as adults we all have ways that we engage as well, so appreciating that diversity. But I do think that in the spirit of diversity, it's going to be important to make sure that we are as diverse as the people who we are trying to impact, whether it's in imagery, whether it's in the audience that's sitting here, or whether it's in the presenters that are here on this stage, including young people. I think it's important that we take that away from the conversation as well.
Well, I think it was wonderful. First of all, I think I'm working backwards in the spirit of the conference to Susan Lynn's talk, using a puppet, and realizing that the puppet is us. You know, when we put our hands in there, we activate that. And it was sort of a call to play. And for me, that's so essential, that getting back to the wonder of why we're here and the wonder of the experience. And I think that in the best times with my work, wonder is part of that moment. Here I brought spinners with me, but those pieces remind me of toys, but not just toys, of amphora flasks and mandalas. And so when I'm sitting at this conference and feeling Susan's message, it reverberates something in me that makes me want to go back and think about wonder even more in my work, and think about listening to myself and hearing that call within myself to do something. So I look at that puppet, I think about the digital kids, I hear about the mischief of things, and listen to Rick Landisberg talk on the way something feels in your hand, and I'm transported to that place of making. So even though I'm at a conference, and yes, we're at tables and we have glasses and normal utilitarian things, my soul, my heart is transported to another place of not only just making, but hoping that those connections are made, those strange connections that I was reminded about when listening to the work that was done with CAPTCHA, and thinking, well, okay, that's a little box, but that little box now is transforming our lives by giving us 50,000 more books each year that we can access. And I'm thinking, how does that idea over there get to this one over here? How does something very digital get to something from an ancient age, and they're put together? So I'm hoping, and I don't just hope, I know that that will happen through this kind of experience, that same kind of this from here, digital kids, to this of nature, to this of the puppet, to this of the handle on an object, will make something different in the future. So that's what I feel when I'm sitting here. I think that's part of the synergy here. I think there was a tremendous amount of magic in the room, not just on stage, but you could actually feel it in the room. But the breakout sessions and giving us the hour or hour and a half to walk out into the lobby and meet with people and have something to drink and start a conversation and purposefully walk up to someone who you do not know or have not known and tell them your name and find out who they are, and purposefully sitting next to people that you don't know, that you've never met, and making connections so that, yes, of course, people will come back to me. I will search out other people, and I've made contacts through just the readings. Here's the magic of walking into this conference and being given a book, an accidental book, just a book. And yet that book I couldn't put down. From the moment I got back to my room in the evening, I was transported by it. And I searched out the person who gave that idea of the book to thank them. So I feel like I've made not only new friends, but friends that I've missed for a while have come back into my life just through this conference. So it is transformative, it is magical, it is holistic, and it's very, very beautiful.